So Natalia Alyanovna Romanova. Sorry, very Russian. I don't speak it. Natasha Romanoff is the official and current and most often referred to character as the Black Widow. Many people have had that title. She has had many other names besides that, but more or less, that's who she is. And she is a former KGB agent that was trained in the Red Room. At some point, you gotta have to know all the stuff I'm saying, right? She defected, she joined S.H.I.E.L.D., she proved that she was looking to do what was right, not for any country, but for humanity or society. She has an incredibly mysterious past, of which has been retconned 400 or 500 times from her first appearance, and I believe her first appearance was the old school Tales of Suspense 1950, 1960. I know it was issue number 52, but that kind of run, that was where they before they really had Iron Man comics, they did have the Fantastic Four, but they didn't really have like Iron Man and Thor. Everybody was under some kind of grand like Marvel title, kind of like how DC's Batman was Detective Comics and Spider-Man was Amazing Fantasy. They didn't really have titles unless they thought the characters were so cool that people would buy them. They just kept it to the simple title. So she's from Tales of Suspense number 52. Again, the link will be in the description below. And basically has absolutely no superpowers. That said, she's got some stuff, right? So she was trained in the Red Room and went through some biochemical and biomechanical upgrades she had from childhood, you know. She had a very weak version of the super soldier serum, improved her body's ability to be a body. You know, she can live longer, she can heal faster, and she was a little bit more athletic, but she didn't have any of the super strength, speed, or anything that comes from like normal super soldier serums. You're gonna find out as we go through these that like 88.9% of superheroes and supervillains in the entirety of the Marvel universe specifically came about trying to recreate Captain America and failing. Like almost everybody. But she's a pretty strong. She is the same kind of like high-end physical strength as, I don't want to say Black Panther from the previous video, but along those lines. She's a very strong person, but she's fast. She has like an Olympic level athlete. Durability just from being beaten up for so long that her body is really good. Good reflexes, good stamina. She has good healing from the serum, like quick healing, but not quite superhuman healing. Healing. She has decent hearing, actually. And the same thing with endurance and immune system. Like, she just doesn't get sick. She just doesn't, you know, fall ill. Her broken arm for her will heal in roughly a week, where most people would be out of commission for weeks, if not months. She's a acrobat, a martial artist, an assassin, a weapons expert, a hacker, she's like the super spy. She's James Bond with red hair and from Russia. In addition, instead of tech, she is just a murder woman. Like, that's it. And that's part and parcel of the whole Red Room training and everything like that. But most importantly, she is a spy. As for tech, she has the Widow gauntlets, those things on her wrists. They shoot basically tasers. That's no better way to say it. It's like a electroshock. Depending on how much she wants to put into somebody, it could be like disable or straight up kill them. She has a Batman utility belt, as you can see here. She has the ability to pilot, so she has a jetpack and she can use the Quinjet. She has whatever she really needs. If it's tech-based and she's an Avenger, she can have it. But basically, guns, hand-to-hand combat, weapons training, and hacking are where her skill sets come into play. She also has some other skill sets, like Seductress. I don't feel like that's a skill. I feel like that's just what she uses as her spy. We've seen enough spy movies to know that, like, yeah, that's a thing spies do, men and women, so that's kind of fair. But now we're done talking about the character of Black Widow, so we could talk about the game character of Black Widow, who has been through a decent number of updates, not the least of which recently because of her movie release. And she's a hero global skill controller, right? So hero, yep, global, makes sense. Skill, more or less. I mean, all of the stuff that she went through in her training, the Red Room training and everything, those are still skill-based. If she was, if she was lobotomized or if she had amnesia, it's very possible that while she could still heal fast, she wouldn't necessarily remember how to be a hero in the same way that she was before, so that's what makes sense for skill. Controller, I think that's more of a game thing. I don't think that she is a controller. I would probably put her somewhere between Blaster and Brawler. Makes the most sense for her character. She has guns and physical combat in equal parts, so just pick one and moving on. Even her abilities, she does have some camouflage tech. I don't know how much of control that is, but is what it is. As far as her ISOs, I can say Skirmisher is one of my favorite options for her. Raider, not as much. She doesn't hit many people, and critical damage, her damage isn't great for the same reason Striker's not great, but built with the right kind of team, like with the Wave 1 Avengers with Hawkeye, or with her Skilletary team, Striker could also be beneficial just to take advantage of those extra vulnerables. But then again, she's also calling to be assisted by many other characters, Yelena, Hawkeye, a couple of others. So putting Skirmisher on her also will apply more vulnerables. I just think it works. Plus her basic always removing buffs, as opposed to previously where there was a bug that allowed her to remove buffs on assist even if she wasn't in stealth. We'll talk about that when we get to her kit. I just like Skirmisher. I think that Fortifier and Healer are silly. She protects herself with stealth. Healer, she doesn't have that much health to begin with. Skirmisher, Striker, those are your two real options. Pick whichever one between the two. Stats are, this is 102k. You'll notice she doesn't have particularly good health. Her damage isn't great by any stretch of the imagination. Armor, resistance, focus. Her stats aren't amazing. One of her stats that is amazing, though, and I don't really show this often, is speed. Granted, we have a whole bunch of characters that are way faster now. She was, for the longest time, the fastest character in the game, without other situations. Like, she might not go first on turn 1, but she would lap other people in turns faster than anybody else. So, taking a quick look at her kit, we got Saboteur. With tier 4, she gets up to 15% speed. This is applied after any character has taken an action. What does that mean? Don't worry. Scopely doesn't know either. And you can comment below and say what they've said it means, but no one cares. So on self or ally stealth, apply offense up to all self and all skill military. Apply death proof to random guys. 50% chance to gain assist now on allied Hawkeye. And of course, if you tier 4 it, it'll always assist those guys, as well as get that extra feed. It's not a bad tier 4. Really, she only kind of shines on her team, though. So, like, if you're not using her on this team for this purpose, this tier 4 isn't going to do much for you other than the speed. Worth it, but not amazing. Widow's Bite. I can tell you right now, this ability was incredibly useful to me in Dark Dimension 4. Just because it's a 4 energy stun, and she spends the most time in stealth anyway. So, the transfer 1 positive effect from primary and also, that doesn't really make a difference. Attack primary target for some damage, not relevant. Apply stun, chain with bleeds, get extra stuff for all of this, more damage, none of it cares. This stun was one of the cheapest ways I could do it in Dark Dimension 4, so this ability was great. I wouldn't recommend her for DD4, but she's a very cheap investment, and at the time, there was a lot of game modes where using her as the skill character that she was very beneficial. Now we have a little bit better options, so while not worth any tier 4, definitely a good ability and one of the reasons she was one of the best characters in the game for the first, like, year and a half. Camouflage tech, another reason. Gain stealth for 2 turns, clear all negative effects from self. With tier 4, she clears 1 from Avengers and skill military. No big deal, nothing special. Apply speed up to self and all shield, Avenger, and skill military allies. 60% chance to apply speed up to all allies for 2 turns. So, basically, if you build the team right, everybody's getting 2 turns of speed up. If you don't, there's a chance everybody gets speed up anyway. pretty useful character, pretty splash value character. All in all, pretty great move, and pretty much ready all the time because her speed is so great that she's constantly taking extra turns. She very rarely spends more than a turn out of stealth anyway. Then her basic, attack primary target. During stealth, copy and clear all positive effects on the primary target. If you're not in stealth, that's when Skirmisher comes up the most. Realistically, I just use Skirmisher to apply vulnerables. You can use Striker if she's in stealth and she's called for an assist and she has Striker on her, then she'll do this twice. There was a little bit of a bug before, but ultimately not crazy. As far as a character goes, I'm going to rate her a little bit higher than I think a lot of other people do. I think she's an A-tier character. She's incredibly cheap to invest, which is something that you really do have to consider when you think about characters in this game. You don't have to spend a lot to get her very strong. She's incredibly durable and useful in a lot of different game modes, not limited to raids. Especially the hardest raids right now. She is still a very viable option for Doom raids. She is a very viable option if you're using the Secret Avengers, one of the best teams right now for Doom raids. If you're using Kestrel, she's still a good option, and because she protects herself and everybody else, she lets them take extra turns. She's not bad, but there's nothing she's amazing at. So I know it sounds weird to give her like an A rating under that, but the skill pool of characters is so low that when you do see one that's really good, it's kind of worth it to note them out. Now, the skill pool has been getting better and better as time has moved on, but at the end of the day, Kingpin's still in the skill pool, so someone's got to be the worst, right? Anyway, hopefully this was helpful information to you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, if you want these videos to go shorter or longer, let me know, and I'll make sure I try to keep them tight. So have a good night. Have a great day. I've been Tony Scungili, and I will catch you later.